Good afternoon. Having a reverence for human life, that is the mandate of the Baltimore Police Department, especially in how we conduct our investigations when someone loses their life senselessly in the city of Baltimore. No one should have to die at the hands of another. When that happens, our homicide section, a unit full of very dedicated, hardworking investigators, some of the best, become the voices for the victims. The Department Survivors Advisory, the mothers who have lost their children on the streets of Baltimore and the cities around, had asked us never to forget and never stop hunting for those who have taken and harmed their children. Today, we're announcing a partnership that will enhance our murder investigations and help put responsible people or responsible for harm in jail. As the police commissioner, I issued a challenge to my command staff. I often ask them to think of creative ways, cutting-edge technology, and different things to keep us on the forefront of law enforcement. The Intelligence and Investigation Bureau took up that challenge and applied to be a part of a new program. The Intelligence and Investigations Bureau is led by Deputy Commissioner Kevin Davis and Colonel Dave Reitz. The new program deals with homicide investigation enhancement training and technical assistance project. Our organization will be one of only 6 departments in the United States to participate in this project. In short, the project is sponsored by DOJ, the Department of Justice, BJA, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, under the direction of PERF, which is Police Executive Research Forum. We will collaborate with our homicide unit to make them even stronger, faster, better than what they are today. Our homicide unit is world famous, and it has some of the best tested investigators in any law enforcement organization anywhere. This opportunity will take in an incredibly talented group of detectives and partner them with the experts of the Police Executive Research Forum. And we look at the process of how we investigate and clear homicides. Again, we'll be bringing some of the best practices to the Baltimore Police Department, much like we've set the trend over the last 2.5 years, as they work to make our homicide unit even more effective and faster. What I'd like to do now is bring up Deputy Commissioner Davis to talk about the specifics of the program. Deputy Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good afternoon. We are very excited at the BPD regarding this Police Executive Research Forum grant opportunity. We look forward to working with some of the best experts in the country, and as we pair our very, very best, our world-renowned detectives, as the Commissioner described, with some of the leading experts in our industry, we can't help but get even better. We work hard to solve every homicide. Unlike every other crime, homicide detectives never get to talk to their victims. It's the only crime where a detective never gets to speak to his or her victim, and it makes it particularly challenging at times to reach the closures that our victims deserve and their families deserve. Clearance rates are an important tool, then, for us to measure our effectiveness as an organization. Currently, our UCR clearance rate is 53.7% year-to-date 2015. So that 53.7% UCR clearance rate year-to-date is far better than the 47.6% clearance rate that we've averaged over the last 4 years. It's something that we're paying attention to, and it's something that we're committed to get even better. Whenever police officials talk about numbers, it's important to never lose sight of the fact that we're talking about human beings and human lives, and we certainly realize that. We also realize that the families need closure, and identifying those responsible for this most heinous of all crimes is an important responsibility that we take very seriously in Baltimore. We never lose sight of that fact. We look for every opportunity to close cases and bring justice to our victims and their families. This collaboration with PERF will create opportunities to further our effectiveness and will make our homicide detectives even better. The experts that are coming will look at how we conduct our investigations, the type of training that our detectives receive, and I'll just tell you, in my short 3.5 months here, Commissioner Batts is determined to establish a curriculum not only for homicide detectives but for all detectives. It's something that not a lot of law enforcement do very well, law enforcement agencies rather, and the Commissioner is determined to make that, that structure something that is part of the culture here in Baltimore. These folks will review our policies and procedures for our investigations. These investigations often start with a 911 call, goes to a dispatch, it goes to the arrival of our first responders, police, fire, EMS, the arrival of our crime scene investigators, the influence of our crime lab. Evidence-based policing, as you know, is so very important in 2015. It touches our crime analysis capabilities. It touches our collaborative responsibilities and working relationships with our state's attorney's office. So these subject matter experts will review all of those things that go on in these dynamic homicide investigations. They're also going to look at the number of anonymous tips we receive here in Baltimore. So far, year to date, another good bit of news is our Metro Crime Stoppers tips have increased 300% from this time last year. And that's an encouraging sign that our community partnerships are doing what they should be doing, and we have a long way to go. Essentially, every aspect of a homicide investigation, from first notification to the last day of testimony, will be under evaluation to see how we can improve. This process falls in line with Commissioner Batts' directive to be constantly looking for ways to improve our operations and better serve the people of Baltimore. At the end, they will make us more efficient, help close more cases, and put us on that cutting edge of investigative techniques that the Commissioner spoke of, and will position Baltimore to take its place as the very best of police departments in our nation. Thank you.
Are there any questions we can take?
What was the raw numbers of those anonymous tips?
I don't have the raw numbers in front of me. I know that the percentage has increased by 300%, and the captain can fill you in on the raw numbers.
Deputy Commissioner, do you know how many homicide cases have been solved this year?
Year to date?
Yeah.
Again, for the purpose of this announcement, I didn't bring a lot of raw numbers with me. I know our year-to-date UCR clearance rate is 53.7%. We compared that 53.7% against previous years in terms of our UCR clearance rates. And again, those hovered around 47.6. Now we're up to 53.7. And to put clearance rates in context, and there's 18,000 police departments in America, right? So for police departments that serve populations of 500,000 or 500,000 folks or more, we're right where everybody else is. We want to be better than where everybody else is. For those agencies that serve smaller populations, sometimes you'll see clearance rate numbers in the mid to low 60s, but we compare apples to apples here, and that's what we've done with some of our numbers.
That 47.6 was taken on an average of how many years again?
The last 4 calendar years, UCR. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that it was a grant or a program, at least. Is there a particular money amount that the DOJ and these other departments have decided that this would be, or are there a certain number of, like, how do you categorize that? How many folks are coming from there?
I think I understand the question. I think we'll see about a dozen or so folks that will be dedicating their time.
How long will they be here?
About 3 months, and that's just underway now. We've already had our first couple of conference calls. So as PERF and Department of Justice and BJA looks at the dedication of time, I'm certain that they can probably attach a monetary number to it. We're just grateful to partner with these folks. We sought them out. They didn't seek us out. We said, how can you help us be better than we are?
Well, and seeking them out seems to acknowledge that you're not happy with where the numbers are now, and that there is an issue with only being able to solve about half of the murders that happen in
Well, let me answer to that. I'll answer that this way, which is, I'm never happy with any numbers. Until we get to 100%, I'm not going to be happy with the numbers. Even after PERF comes in and we raise up our numbers and get better, let's say we get to the 60s or 70s, I'm not going to be happy with those either. So this is continuously improving as we go along. So this is no different whether we're doing with crime numbers on a yearly basis to drop them even further, but also solve the cases. I think the two are tied together.
Commissioner, this is the second major initiative in which you are seeking outsiders to essentially tell you what's wrong. What's the message that sends?
Pretty clearly, we're on the cutting edge, and we're looking to be on the cutting edge. And in every organization I've gone into is that I bring outside best practices into the organization as a whole. It doesn't say that my team is not proficient. It doesn't say that we can't do it in-house. But when you're driving 75 miles per hour, it's very hard to change the tires. It's always good to bring people in to have the time to sit back and take a look. And look, there may be some things which are culturally that we may be doing different than some of the other ones. And I want to be open and honest about that and take a look at them. But I have all the faith in the world in my command staff, in my detectives, in the job that they're doing. But much like the question was asked, I'm never satisfied. So I'm always going to push. I'm always going to ask the questions. I'm always going to see if we're doing everything that we should be doing the way that we should be doing it.
So if you get to the end of the day with both the review of the conduct of the organization, which the Justice Department's doing, and now the way you do your most high-profile investigations, if you get to the end of the day and it looks really broken, what are you going to do?
Fix it. That's the whole process, is to be open and transparent. And I think we don't go in with egos, and I think that's the biggest problem. If you don't think you can get better, or if you're arrogant enough to think that you can't improve, I think that's a mistake as a whole. And so I think what we do is we become open, see what those things are that we're going to sharpen up, and there's going to be things that are going to be seen that we can do better, and we're going to do them better. That's the whole concept.
Other questions?
Commissioner, what's the status on some of the investigations from this weekend's crime, including the multiple shooting that occurred on Thursday? Have you found that car? Have you found any of the suspects or have those persons of interest, or at least identified them?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Do we want to say that? We'll go ahead.
We found the car. As you know, this weekend, and we don't really acknowledge weekdays versus weekends, and we've been here straight through this entire command staff led by the commissioner in anticipation of a question, perhaps, Justin, regarding the council president's nephew. That investigation is progressing. We certainly encourage folks who know something about it. Again, this is a daytime murder, as a number of our murders have been daytime so far in 2015, and that leads us to believe that folks not only witnessed it, but certainly know about it, and we need those folks to come forward. We're happy with that 300% increase in tips that we're getting from Crime Stoppers, but as we look at the raw numbers that come through, and that question wasn't lost on me, we certainly want to increase those tips, and they're out there, and that's where we are with those investigations. As soon as we identify folks who are persons of interest or develop any surveillance or video stills that we think you can help us get out to the community, we'll be certain to put those out to you and ask for your help.
It's now been like 3/4 of a year since the little girl was killed. Kenzie Elliott, I believe is her name.
Right.
What's the status of that?
That's active. That case is far from cold. It's an active investigation. It drives every detective in our homicide unit. A lot of us, all of us, have carrying around heavy hearts until that's solved. But that's another crime that's going to really count on the degree of cooperation we get from folks who know about that murder. So while progress is being made, we haven't reached a point yet where charges have been levied, and we're looking forward to that day.